Have 71 today, mostly sunny, dropping down to 52 tonight.
This is Kevin Harlan. The football weekend continues tonight with Monday Night Football on the Sports Leader, KFAN.
Adam's bra.
Here we go.
New microphones. It's all over the place.
Did you see the sign that says "Keep drinks away from equipment"?
Jess
that was
is
written up
coming
on the
in.
board after sauce spilled right into that microphone
Yeah,
thing.
he gets confused because he didn't think that was the equipment they were talking about.
Oh. Hey, Sauce, Tony makes a good point on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
Remember when you said Pablo Lopez scattered 2 hits? Chris, I'm only bringing this up because I'm trying to get you to scratch that itch.
Who you talking to me?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Tony says, most slot machines, you need to hit 3 scatter symbols to win. So I think 3 should be the minimum number of hits to scatter. I agree. 2 feels like you can make a line.
The rules
scatter
already been
2
made.
hits.
You can't change the rules.
You got to scatter 3 or more. Right? In the slot machines, you got to scatter 3 symbols.
I don't know
think
what you're
Tony's
talking
onto
about.
it. 3 is the minimum for a pitcher to scatter hits. No more nonsense that he scattered 2.
I like.
Gotta be 3.
I like scat.
I just like saying scattered.
Yeah, he likes
I
scat.
know. For sure.
Yeah, Corey loves scat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of Viking stuff to talk about. We will have Alexander Mattison at the bottom of this hour. We've got Ben Lieber and Mussman in there right now. But can we please address the biggest story of the day?
It's time for Fan 5, brought to you by Builders and Remodelers.
And that is?
Michigan State football coach Mel Tucker has been suspended without pay while the university completes an investigation into claims that he sexually harassed a prominent sexual assault awareness speaker after she was hired
you
to
can't make
address
this
the
up.
Spartan team.
Man,
Skipping down,
that's higher level kind of stuff.
Brenda Tracy, who operates a nonprofit company that tries to raise awareness about sexual misconduct, especially among college athletes, told university investigators that Tucker sent her gifts, asked if she would date him if he wasn't married, and while on the phone with her without her consent.
Whoa.
He's not denying that part. He's just saying it was consensual.
He said it was consensual.
He's admitting he did it. He's just saying we had this going both ways.
Yeah.
That's his argument. Paul, your hands up.
So, Hawk, you started this by saying he's been suspended, right?
Yes.
So pro football, whatever, or not pro football, PFF college, that whole bit.
Yeah.
They tweeted 17 hours ago that he has been fired.
This was,
But-
let's see.
I
thought he was fired.
Correct. But to Hawk's point, though, I haven't, like, ESPN has said that it's just a suspension. Nobody else has gone with that he's been fired.
Right,
Yep.
but there were reports yesterday that it was a firing, but the latest update is suspended without pay
Yeah.
because he's being investigated.
And he's in like the 3rd year of a $110 million contract.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I think he's due. I think I read this morning upwards of $77 million.
By the way,
Golly,
let's.
wow.
I don't want to move off this story. I don't want to move off this story because this story's it's going to be a big, huge story. But speaking of false reports, hey, you guys following the Mike Williams progress?
Yes. Yeah.
How about reports that he's dead? To nope, jump the gun. He's in huge trouble on life support. Probably not going to make it, but he's not dead yet. But he's
Wait, this is
probably
the guy who got his head crushed?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's improving.
He's on his. I read he's breathing on his own, right?
So the story that I saw yesterday was that I think they were either taking him off of the ventilator or set to take him off the ventilator.
I think you're right.
So what a range of misreporting from dead. That's the biggest misreporting is he's dead.
Yeah. We hear that a lot.
To it's over. He knows it's over. The family knows it's over. They're just going to pull the plug in the next day or two. To now, fast forward to yesterday, and he's showing signs of improvement. I have no idea what his quality of life is going to be.
Trying to break the story kind of thing?
Really? Or somebody just got bad information, one of the two. But, man, what a range of emotions for Mike Williams.
Think about if you're on said construction site and a steel beam falls and crushes somebody on their head, right? My mind is only going to take me to a place that's not a good situation.
Yeah, you're not making that. Yeah.
So if somebody says, "Oh my God, what happened there?" If I'm there and I'm an eyewitness, like that guy's dead.
Yeah. Correct.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm going to guess he was probably pretty lifeless and obviously unconscious when they put him in the stretcher and off to the ambulance. So like I would think that most people would say, like, a steel beam just hit that guy in the head and he's not moving and he looks dead.
And this isn't some random Twitter guy. The New York Post said he was dead. That's a major news organization said he's dead. Now he's not dead. And again, as of Saturday, I think this is is it the Tampa Bay Times? Tampa Bay Times said he's still in the intensive care unit. He's still fighting. It's not like he's, cruising to good health, but he's not even close to dead. Like
Wow.
he is trending the
Incredible.
right way.
He's fighting for that
Incredible.
settlement.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. Right.
He's like, I gotta stay alive.
Yeah.
To
I got
take
hit in the
advantage of the
head.
settlement.
Yeah.
That's fantastic news. That's so
Yes.
cool that it's
Incredible.
going the right way. All right, now back to the Mel Tucker thing, because this is, you just can't make it up. The fact that Ron Johnson was telling me this gal's story, this gal apparently has some gigantic trauma in her past, so she's speaking firsthand about the dangers of these kinds of situations. Michigan State brings her on. Sorry, Michigan State, right?
Michigan State.
Michigan State brings her on to discuss with the players. Here's
Unreal.
some pitfalls. Here's what you can't be. Here's what you can't do from a female perspective. Here's how we're looking at the world.
Probably the storyline while she's telling it, probably breaking up a little bit. Probably, you could definitely feel that heavy.
Ugh.
And then the coach.
That's the last person on the planet you should be sexually assaulting, harassing. And what is Mel Tucker doing? Again,
man.
I have no idea where this is going, but you just can't make it up that that's the one that this is connected to.
So was she brought in as just as a guest speaker, or is she on staff as a sexual abuse compliance officer?
So
or whatever?
I can't confirm this, but this is what Ron told me yesterday. But Ron says a lot of teams are doing that. I think even the Gophers have somebody like that is on staff as almost like I don't want to say like a therapist, but almost like a counselor.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I believe some teams have them staffed, not just as a guest speaker. I'm not sure if this one was a guest speaker or a staff member. I don't know why I'm doing air quotes, because it's like I'm not sure, but I guess this is a new trend.
They might just work for the athletic department overall,
just
and
to
they're
try
just
to
like,
keep everybody on the same page.
just like basically
Consultant.
an extension of the HR department,
which is super smart. Let's get a gal that knows what she's talking about in that spot to give some young players maybe a little insight on how not to be an a-hole.
Yeah.
And now she's in this because, according to her, Mel Tucker did the unthinkable and targeted her.
It sounds like they've had multiple conversations. I mean, you don't just go up to some gal that you've talked to once or twice a week. Would you date me if I wasn't married?
Right.
It's this. That's why I'm asking. Like, that would be really weird if she's just a guest speaker that was just coming in, flying in and out, and just doing a speech and a presentation. And like, how do you ask that? Like, A, you're not booking those speakers. That's usually done by somebody else on your staff.
Right.
So this is probably somebody on staff or within the university. So like, they must have had multiple conversations.
Yeah, the creepiness of him probably sitting in that room, listening to her speech, and going, "Oh yeah,
yeah, I got to get this girl
right." You're not listening to the message at all.
At all.
I don't know. I don't know. This sounds, now that like pieces are falling together, it seems very. I don't know. I wouldn't just go right away now and say like he's an a-hole and it's his fault. Like I don't know. I think there has to be an investigation. If you're on staff and there's multiple interactions with each other, inner business and inner working romances happen all the time. I don't know. Is she?
Well, but the investigation might be whether or not they can fire him with cause, right?
Yes.
Right. Because if they find out that it is consensual, if they get to the bottom of this and his story ends up being true or mostly true, or there's some gray area, I think it's more for the legality of, can we get out of this contract if this absolutely is, if her story is correct, can we get out of all of the money?
But doesn't it
might
feel
just be for that,
like,
which is such a mess.
Right. So they're going to unveil. There's probably more. Right. You don't just, you don't go, oh, I'm going to wait for this person that that is speaking about the things I'm not supposed to do.
Right, man.
And so there's got to be more.
Guys are so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Just an idiot.
You guys, here's the thing though, like, we got to be we have to stop being so quick to judge some of these stories, because I think that's equally as dangerous. Her title makes it like way worse. She's not just like the secretary that works there. Her job is to talk about these sort of things. why can't we give him the benefit of the doubt and think that, like, he thought they were in a flirtatious relationship and then she was being consensual with some of the things.
There's no way that was just a one-time.
There's no way that was
off.
a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So, is she not living up to the things that she's preaching to other people? I don't know. But I don't think that it's right for us either to be like, this guy's an a-hole and we just need to say, like, he's a bad dude.
I just can't believe with her title that there's...
It looks horrible. Like that.
Yeah, the optics are really
right.
bad.
It's just, man, if there's even a remotely gray area, I can't believe he ventured into those waters saying this is smart. It's just so dumb to even get into that arena.
Correct.
That's my point. Is I'm not saying he's a liar. I'm not saying she's a liar. I'm just saying I just can't believe you're even dancing around it when that's her job.
Personally, I'm fine with that if that's the conclusion we're making right now. But to make him to be the guilty one immediately, I think is irresponsible for everybody.
Why not just have your own bar as a coach and then you do it there?
Huh? Oh, Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So wrong.
All right, Alexander Mattison should be joining in about 10 minutes or so. We'll ask him what it's like to have a 400-pound guy fall on you and what went wrong yesterday with the Vikings against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. More of the Power Trip Morning Show after this on The Fan.
The countdown is on to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Unlock VIP benefits at the festival all weekend long. It's better over here. See why at tmobile.com/SEEWHY.
You'd do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You've lost your license because of a DWI. You've lost your freedom to travel. You've lost part of yourself. Barrero back with you for Smart Start MN, the folks who can help get you back on the road. An ignition interlock is merely the device that can get you back on the highway legally and safely, but Smart Start MN is the company that can explain it to you, get it installed for you, answer all your questions. They know all the ins and outs of the Minnesota Ignition Interlock program because they helped design it. Do not go with imitators. They are local, experienced, and they've got answers. Go to smartstartmn.com. That's smartstartmn.com.
Fall sports are back at Dick's House of Sport Minnetonka in Ridgedale Center. Stop by September 15th through 17th to score doorbuster deals like a $39.98 10x10 Quest canopy, $5.98 Dick's Sporting Goods logo chairs, men's and women's footwear starting at $39.98, and men's DSG fleece hoodies or joggers $29.98. On Sunday the 17th, join our fall tailgate event featuring a live DJ, food trucks, giveaways, and a special appearance from Minnesota quarterback Kirk Cousins. Dick's House of Sport is the destination for all things Minnesota football.
When you have a home exteriors project, choose the roofing, siding, windows, and gutter experts at Archway Contracting. From storm repair to home improvement, homeowners trust locally owned Archway Contracting. There's one way to do it right, the Archway. Visit archwaycontracting.com.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
This is Angela Warner for Warner Stellian. Buying a big-ticket item like an appliance doesn't have to be stressful. Don't waste time wandering the paint aisles looking for help or arranging your own delivery, installation, and haul away. Our appliance specialists will simplify the process for you from delivery to professional installation and at unbeatable savings. Plus, during our huge Labor Day sale, you can get an extra up to 10% back. And that's just the start. Find out more at warnerstellian.com.
Oh, how great it would feel to have your 20-year-old knees, shoulders, hips, and back.
You know, you don't think about your pains when you're in your 20s or 30s, but you wish you could get that body back when you're in your 60s. I think QC did that for me.
For Patrick, it started with a simple phone call to QC Kinetics.
One day I was driving and I just heard the radio and I pulled over and took the number and I called them when I got home.
Maybe that's you and you're listening right now. Why wait? QC Kinetics Regenerative Treatments uses your body's own natural biologics to heal and restore damaged tissue without invasive surgery or harmful drugs. And as for the results,
my knees are as good as they were when I was in my 20s. I'm really happy with what happened.
For Patrick, it's like QC Kinetics turned back the clock. Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 612-254-7123. That's 612-254-7123. 612-254-7123.
Back to school means back to learning. If you need internet that makes the grade, Quantum Fiber delivers amazing reliability and speed, all with unlimited data. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, Raising Cane's One Love. Look, they've been feeding hungry football fans at Raising Cane's since 1996. Here in the Twin Cities, since 05 or 06, you're probably crushing Raising Cane's during your football games. Why not? If you're watching it tonight, get Raising Cane's. Football and Cane's makes a ton of sense. If you want the best chicken fingers on the planet, if you want Texas toast, lemonade, sweet tea. If you're going to tailgate, think Raising Cane's. Or if you just need something today for lunch or for dinner. The best chicken fingers on the planet are the ones that are fresh. They're cooked to order. They're never, ever frozen. It's my favorite food ever. Probably yours as well. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. Raising Cane's in football. Raising Cane's One Love.
5 years, no interest, or save 20% off on your siding project. Go to buildersandremodelers.com.
Listen to Ben Lieber on The Power Trip, sponsored by Mystic Lake.
You're listening live to The Power Trip on iHeartRadio and FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
There were times in the game where they did some things schematically with some safety pressures and things where I kind of talked you out of some plays. And then up front, I just think, we got to just get a little bit more movement, a little bit more connectedness on our combinations and try to just get efficient as we possibly can. And then have ways of generating explosives in the run game to pair with the ability to get Justin going and Jordan and some of these other guys, TJ in the pass game, while protecting Kirk. It's got to come together overall a little bit better than it did today.
KOC on that Tampa defense and what they did to limit our offense. Speaking of our offense, our running back number 1, Alexander Mattison, will join here in about 6 minutes or so. Power Trip Morning Show, day after a 2017 loss to the Bucs. I'm covering it like a blanket. TJ Hawkinson on the slow start from our offense.
I think it just felt like there's a few plays and a few drives that we didn't get in a rhythm. Once we got our first down, we were good. We were moving the ball. But when you don't get that first one, that's obviously tough. It's hard to go 3 and out, as an offense. You want to keep the plays moving, keep the drive moving. Once you get the first down, we were feeling good about it.
Ben, should we play him in the preseason to get him ready to start fast?
Proved it last year that it wasn't.
Yeah, we proved it last year that we didn't really need to. So we're 50-50 right now. It worked last year, didn't work this year.
And isn't it back to if you play him a series or two and then somebody gets a significant injury, then everybody screams at the top of their lungs, what are we doing playing Justin Jefferson in the preseason?
You are correct.
So it's what you have to lose is so much greater than what you have to gain.
Yeah, and I would even argue that what's the point of playing 2 or 3 series?
Right.
None.
At all.
Nothing.
Even if everybody comes out healthy, it's like I've been in that situation. Like you're going about 90% of what game speed really is, and it really doesn't matter. So how high quality are those reps? I really think what they're doing with these joint practices, they're getting plenty of good on good at full speed.
And you played with Adrian Peterson. He never played.
He never did.
And I brought this up earlier. Maybe you heard me say this, but Joe Burrow, when he was asked about why he played so terribly yesterday, he talked about the fact that he was injured during, quote, training camp. He didn't say, man, I wish I would have played in the preseason. He was going out of his way to say, man, I wish I would have been able to participate in training camp.
Right, exactly. It's not so much about the actual individual games. If he was healthy enough and his calf wasn't an issue, he could have been a part of those joint practices and all those daily reps and getting the timing down and all that stuff. So I agree with him that, we're shifting the NFL, and I think we all kind of have to shift. I mean, some people are going to play their starters and some aren't. I really don't think that there's an actual metric in a way that we can measure what's the right way or the wrong way to do it.
How about over the last couple decades of Vikings football here on The Fan, we've argued all the time about, we got a new or 2 or 3 offensive linemen. It's going to take them 3 or 4 games to gel. That's an argument we've made so many times. These are the same 5 guys, right? We can't use that argument. I know we had injuries yesterday with Darisaw and Bradbury.
Yeah.
But in general, they have the same 5 starters. So we don't get to fall back on the Well, let's give them 3 or 4 games and see what happens. Right, that isn't a preseason thing either. They didn't get a chance to really play together in the preseason enough. These are the same 5 guys as last year when they're healthy. So I would hope that the waiting for the offensive line to gel argument is not a thing that gets discussed this year.
Yeah, but let's not overlook the fact that you do have 2 starters that are out in a game, and Bradbury early on, almost the entire game, yeah. And then Darisaw goes out, and we all have been sitting there touting how Darisaw is so effing good. Then you go from that, and you have the 3 turnovers. Defensively, only 242 yards given up.
Yeah.
It wasn't, they were short-fielded, but for the most part, this was mostly mistakes and turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, you have an offensive line that you were already saying, not really sure, but, at least one of our key players on that offensive line out.
Yeah. Yep. And Kevin Seifert just posted out there that, and this is kind of confirming what our eyes were kind of telling us. Now it's matched up against the whole rest of the league. The Vikings defense pressured the most of any team on Sunday.
9 quarterback hits.
Yep. And Tampa Bay was number 2. So they were 42% clipped that they were blitzing our offense. And going back to what I said in the first segment with you guys, I think our offensive line actually played pretty well. And I actually think that, some of the quarterback hits, and I know everybody's trying to think about the sack fumble to Antoine Winfield. That wasn't on the offensive line at all. All the offensive line members had their guys locked up. That was a free rusher. That was a good job by you by bringing more than we can block, and it was great timing. You have to give them some sort of credit. And, if you're going to be nitpicky, Kirk's got to see that and get the ball out. That's not on the offensive line. So this narrative that we are going to attack the offensive line against going against the second highest pressure rate of week 1, I thought actually played pretty well. And I actually think that they designed their max protection off of some of the motions and stuff. Pre-snap was a brilliant setup for a lot of those deep shots down the field. Now, last thing I'll say about this is we always have to remember, after week 1, you can sign veteran players and not guarantee their contracts.
Ooh.
That being said, I would imagine that there are going to be some signings, maybe at least one by this team, probably on the offensive line this week, that you don't have to guarantee a veteran salary. So
like Dalton Reisner?
So possibly Dalton Reisner. That could be still in play. So for everybody thinking that we're done making tweaks to this team, every team out there is going to be searching for the right veteran to bring on their team that can make an immediate impact.
Where's Reisner's position?
Please tell me
He's a guard.
That's what I was
What
gonna
side
ask.
specifically?
I think he was a right guard.
Yeah. But he can play both.
He can play both. And if I remember right, at K-State, he played center too.
Yes.
So with Bradbury kind of banged up, center's not a position you just walk right into and in a week's time and learn all the calls and stuff. But, that's the one thing, as much as I think our offensive line played decently well, or actually pretty well in pass protection, Ingram's got to be better in the run game. There was a couple runs and there's a couple of deals where he's just, it's like if there's an issue, it's like he's kind of a part of it. If there's penetration in the run game, it's kind of like on the guy that he's blocking. I think if there's a weak link on that offensive line, it's still a right guard spot.
All right.
Yeah, no. Again, Alexander Mattison should be calling in momentarily. I want to bring this up before we leave because I know you'll have to leave probably right as soon as we're done with him. And we will have Gabe Henderson as well a little bit later. How about the fact that Texas stomped the hell out of Alabama on Saturday? Can you? That seems like something that hasn't happened in 100 years, and it happened on Saturday.
Yeah, they looked real good.
They looked real good.
And it's you and I talked about Ben on Friday. They almost did it last year before Evers got hurt. Ewers got hurt. He's a stud.
Yeah. He's a stud.
That kid is so good.
He's a stud. And they lost by 1 point last year, and Ewers went down in the first half and, still hung with Alabama. And look, I think where it's scary for everybody now looking at Texas has long been top 5, top 10 recruiting class every year. But they go after athletes. They go after, even if they get a 5-star defensive tackle, they don't play a physical brand of football. If they can match up against Alabama in the SEC at their place and play a physical brand of football, pair that with all of the 5-star athletes they have on the outside and a 5-star quarterback, watch out.
The changing of the guard is upon us.
They are on the edge and the cusp of actually being back to national prominence as long as Sark can keep it together and they can stay humble and just kind of they can become the grinders and the dogs and not this country club that everybody knows that Austin, Texas is and how they get pampered. I mean, that's the reason why they've faltered so many times is because they rest on their laurels. They think that their logo and their team can walk into any stadium and beat you. And if they can get past that, look out.
They punched Bama in the mouth every chance they. I watched
by double digits, man.
It was awesome. They just, oh man.
Which for a lot of the country, they're happy to see.
Yeah,
Well, B-Rob was very happy to see that.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine? And then Colorado won as well.
Yeah, man. They are fun to watch.
They are, right?
They are fun to watch. And Sanders, Shadur, should be in the Heisman contention. He legit will be, a first round pick. We'll see how high, but
how crazy is it Hunter, right? Number 12?
Travis Hunter.
Yeah. He plays both sides.
Ways.
Yeah, he's taken so many snaps already in just 2 games. The guy's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When Deion went to Jackson State, Travis Hunter, right?
Yeah.
He was the number 1 recruit, and he went with him.
Yeah.
The best player in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where, I know I'm a fan of Deion. I just don't like some of his approaches and some of the things that he does.
Changing 80 players? That didn't sit well with you?
No. The thing is, he thinks he pushes this narrative. He pushed the race narrative when it wasn't an issue, and that I had a problem with that. And then 2, he's making it sound like these HCBU guys were just like, we're just like this. You recruited 4 and 5 star guys to go there. Like they weren't bad players when you recruit them to Jackson State.
Right.
So we all know what you're like. Take the credit for recruiting these kids to this small university in Jackson, Mississippi. Like, yes, you crushed that. But these guys that are transferring in, they're not just a bunch of bottom-feeding transfer guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with the copycat league that we live in football, doesn't matter if it's NFL or if it's college, do you see more coaches going with this route and just hitting the portal like crazy? And
well, they have to.
Yeah.
They say that, you talk to every one of these guys, like it is the worst part of their job and the worst part for their staff is constantly you think about the NFL waiver wire at the end of training camp. It is a madhouse to try to find players. It's like that all the time for these guys. And it's even magnified because college football is way bigger and a lot more players. So you are just constantly scouring guys that can transfer and get accepted by the NCAA, because you see what happened in North Carolina, where some of these guys they're not going to allow to transfer and play right away.
Guys, we have our special guest. The Vikings Report with Alexander Mattison on the Power Trip is presented by Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee, the official grocery partner of the Minnesota Vikings. Alexander Mattison, thank you for getting up early and giving us a call this morning after a tough loss. We appreciate it very much.
No problem.
Can we start with some fun questions before we break down what went wrong against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday? I don't know if this is fun for you, but can you explain what it's like to have Vita Vea fall on you?
It's that part definitely isn't fun. It was one of those moments in the game where he actually had me and had a good grip around my neck and landed all his weight on me, and I just was like counting the seconds before I heard like a snap of my neck or something. It was just terrible. But yeah, that's like 300 pounds of brute force, and that's one of the things I wouldn't wish on anybody.
Yeah, I don't think any one of us would ever want that to happen. We were talking earlier about some teams, have the starters play in training camp and others don't. And as far as the preseason games, how does your body feel now that you've gone through a full regular season game? Is it exactly where you expected it to be? Better or worse? Where are you?
I think I purposely didn't want to have any expectations just so I didn't, feel one way or the other, whether I was more sore or less sore or whatever. But definitely would say that going into the game, I just, hadn't been tackled in a while. hadn't had to break tackles in a while. So it was definitely one of those things you got to get in the swing of it again, get the feel back and get your pads under you. But after the game, I'm feeling better like this morning than I was last night. So yeah, I think it's right around where I probably would expect it to be week in and week out.
Alex, it's Muss. We had you on Vikings country just this last week, man. Good to hear from you again. You are a girl dad, and I think I actually hear your daughter there. So you get you get trampled by 50 and absolutely smushed, and then the next thing you do is you come home and you're hanging out with your daughter. How much is that grounding?
Very. It's one of those things that no matter what, no matter how my day is going, no matter the outcome of any situation, I can look at her and I can come home and hear her and see her, and it just, step into a different world. And I think that's how it's supposed to be. You have to separate the two, so I can be here for her, be present, and enjoy every second that I get to see her and be with her. So, yeah, she definitely is grounding. I love it.
You mentioned earlier about how, you had to get back in the rhythm of things and get hit and all that. What do you say to some of the fans that say that maybe you guys should have played in some preseason games?
I mean, it's a lot of people do things different. A lot of teams do things different for reasons, unfortunate stuff can happen in preseason. I mean, you see there's some guys who are supposed to, week one, day one, start, and injuries can happen at any point. They can happen in practice, but you put yourself in a game situation and you don't know what can happen. So some teams like to protect their players that way because they'd rather, it'd be in a moment where it's worth it to risk the injury rather than putting them in a moment where, it doesn't count towards anything. So, the mindset behind that, every team, they want to get their players to get that feeling, or they want to protect their players. But we definitely knew, with two joint practices, 2 weeks of joint practices with 2 different teams, that all of our starters were going to get a lot of work during that time, competitive work during that time. So, we just had a plan with it, plan behind it. And I don't think that was a big reason behind why we didn't win that game, but there's a lot that didn't go away, a lot that we did ourselves. And in a close game like that, you can't do that.
Fantastic touchdown, though. Man, you kept your knees moving. It looks like you were going to get tackled at about the 5 or so, but you just kept grinding and stretched out and got that one in there. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's one of those things that we work on in practice, part of our everyday drills with our running backs, and, found myself in a situation where it paid off.
I would guess that there's a million reasons you would rather not have to play on Thursday in Philadelphia on Thursday Night Football. Is there any credence to the idea that you get to just flush this one away and get right back out on the football field and maybe have an opportunity to right the wrongs?
It's one of those things where, usually you're dissecting the game, and usually you have to spend some time to revisit that. Coaches, all the players, you look over the game and you go over that film, and then you're on to the next. But this one, literally you kind of snap your fingers and we're right back into preparing for another team, and you just got to dissect it on your own at home and get over it and get to the next one, which I think is actually like one of those things, blessing in disguise. It's like unfortunate but fortunate that's the situation.
And you guys also have to like that you get a little break after you play 2 games in 5 days, right?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think the body's going to need those extra days for sure.
Alex, I'm happy that you got the touchdown, man, and I'm really happy that you probably won't be fined after the dog humping thing last year.
Yeah, I'm going to try and avoid all finable celebrations this year.
Well, again, thank you for the time. Appreciate you calling in, and we will talk to you hopefully on Friday morning. But regardless, good luck on Thursday night. Let's right the ship and keep it moving.
All right. I appreciate you guys.
There he goes.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, buddy. Alexander Mattison. That segment brought to you On the Fan by Mesh, Besher, and Spence. Thank you very, very much. Alexander Mattison, everybody.
Didn't expect dog humping to be a phrase that was going to appear.
I don't remember that.
Last year he had scored a touchdown and then he did like a dog humping thing and then he got fined pretty severely, but he actually challenged it.
Can you explain the difference between just humping and dog humping?
Yeah, what are you
come over here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
In terms of if
Wait,
you're
is
miming
Lawyer
it?
Lambert here?
But I mean, what did he do that made you think, oh, he's miming dog humping, not just humping?
No, it was absolutely, yeah. And then he actually, he challenged it and didn't have to pay the fine because someone had done it before, I guess is the thing. But yeah.
Yeah, Beethoven, I think, did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Great film. It's not
I never
bad.
saw it.
You've never seen the original Beethoven?
The second one's so much better.
No, the
more
first
heartfelt.
One's fine.
I didn't see a lot of the dog movies in the 90s. I never saw Air Bud.
Hawk loves that film.
No.
They're all
Bud?
They're all top 10.
Oh,
yeah.
Heave Cry. with
Milo
Air
and
Bud.
Otis or whatever. I didn't see that.
Oh, Heave. Doesn't Otis
I don't know.
get thrown from a building?
I don't know.
From a building? Sweet Jesus.
Are you thinking of Anchorman?
I
He gets
haven't,
punched.
I
the hell
haven't
are you
seen
talking
Milo
about?
and Otis, but my guess is Otis does not get thrown from a building.
Well,
if he
doesn't one
does,
of them-
I will owe you some money.
Doesn't one of them die?
Well, maybe, but I doubt thrown from a building.
Yeah.
Who wrote that script? I think I would have heard of that. God, now I got to look it up. Hang on. If you're right, I'm going to be so pissed. Milo.
I'm probably not.
I hope not.
A kid's film where he gets thrown. I don't know.
I mean, I get it.
yeah.
That just doesn't sound like it's possible.
This is a delightful romp until the thrown from the building part.
Ooh.
Are you thinking of Marley and Me?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I was just trying to. I don't know. It wasn't.
Be a part of it.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves. Rhode Island, neither a road nor an island. Discuss.
It's a peninsula.
I've never been. I don't know. I was trying to be humorous. I wasn't trying to be like real.
Oh.
Real. Hey, by the way, I ran into your brother after the game. I swear, I have never had my pouty nips batted more in
All right.
one day.
What is happening?
I don't know why.
I don't know.
Plus, we're gonna have to have a talk after the show.
What? No, I'm serious.
I don't know
No, they're
why
not
you're
sad. They're
going-
just
no,
pouty.
I understand, but that's it's the 8 o'clock hour. We have to.
I know, but
Okay, thank you. This is not K102. We're classy. Let's get some stuff done here.
The Adventures of Milo
Sauce
and
hit me
Otis
up
came
about
out in
6 times
86.
during the game, and then your brother
Don't do that.
All
hit
right.
me up about
Sorry,
4
Coach.
times.
Sorry,
And
Coach.
so did Bonus. Bonus was juggling them.
He loves it. I was just making it up. It's not a real thing. We can move on.
You said talk amongst yourselves.
I was making that up.
What a weird thing to guess. Wasn't Otis thrown off a building?
It's a movie from 1986.
Yeah, some of my favorite movies are 80s movies.
Weird.
He's a pug. Anyway.
You guys are disturbing individuals. Everyone, I'm looking to try to hook up with Gabe Henderson right now, but
Aren't we all?
Wow.
Cash
literally-
those tickets.
literally and figuratively.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
can I say one thing that will make everybody's day happier?
Is
Because
it that
the
the
Vikings
jackpot
lost.
is $522 million
Well,
for
there's
the
that.
Powerball?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, okay.
And there's this. Did you see the name, according to reports, of Elon Musk and Grimes' third baby?
Oh, no.
No.
A new biography on Elon Musk claims that he and Grimes secretly welcomed a third baby, a son.
They named him.
Techno
Yep.
Mechanicus.
Yep, that's right.
What?
Yep, I knew it. I
Techno
had that.
Mechanicus
Yeah.
Musk.
Tecmo Bowl, I would have been all for.
Hawk won the office pool.
Yeah,
he
I
was
knew
the
that was gonna be
closest.
it.
Yeah.
Do you call him Tech?
Techno
I think right. Techno is his first name. Mechanicus is his middle name.
I call you call him TM.
What are they doing?
Whatever they want. They're rich.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
Yeah, but just ruining their kid's life later.
It's like Gabe Henderson always says, the worse name, the better.
Yeah.
Right,
He does
Gabe?
always say that.
The worse name, the better. Hey,
Yeah.
whatever works at this point.
Hey, you just had a baby, right?
I did. I got a 5-month-old now who is going through sleep regression. So all is well in the neighborhood.
Did you name your baby Techno Mechanicus?
Mom wanted that name, but I figured Gabriella would suffice.
Techno Mechanicus Henderson. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, it does.
Are you going Gabby on that one, or are you doing?
No, we're gonna go Ella. Mom's her one thing was if we call her Gabriella, we name her after her dad. We would not call her Gabby. We would call her Ella. So
Yeah, just too close.
Yeah, just too close. I want to call her Briella, but at this point, whatever Mom wants, right?
Hey, Gabe, to the football game yesterday, we saw the Tampa Bay Bucks come out in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And
got a little echo going here.
They absolutely took all of the energy out of the fans, out of the stadium with that 9-minute drive. From a football standpoint, that was a brilliant game plan by their play calling.
Absolutely. What they did was just nickel and dime us down the field. So 5 yards here, 7 yards here. Oh, a big run here. And if you're a defense, being on the field that long, that's not what you want to do. And I mean, let's be honest. Like, fans don't come to games to watch the home team's defense. Like, they want to see points being scored by the offense. So if the defense is on the field that long, that kind of takes the air out of the stadium. So yeah, we felt that, but still, I am very proud of how the defense lined up yesterday. And, without Marcus Davenport and only giving up 20 points, I would take that as a win for that group. But yeah, it's the penalties and then the 12th man not getting involved early in that second half that really got us.
Gabe, real quick, speaking of that, Davenport and then the other injuries, especially to the offensive line, do you have any updates for us this morning? Any idea if Davenport will be back for us on Thursday? What about our offensive line?
Yeah, I saw Davenport this morning. I don't know what his status is. It's one of those things where, if it's, a Thursday night game, I know there's been times in the past where, if there's a Thursday game and then a Sunday, sometimes the staff will hold a guy out on Sunday because that Thursday game is a little bit more crucial. Not sure how this training staff is going to handle Marcus Davenport, but he's a guy that we need very bad on our defensive line. And then offensive line, I think we all saw, some of the tweets that went, I guess, X's that went out last week yesterday with Dalton Reisner, him basically saying, the ball is in the Vikings court. Not sure what the news is there, but clearly there's one side of, that spectrum that wants to, be a part of this purple. But we'll see how that all works out with Kwesi and this front office.
Gabe, we had 369 yards total net. You got Cousins with 344 and a couple of touchdowns. Jefferson with the 150. What was it that the Bucks did defensively to really kind of ruin our day?
Well, they bracket coverage JJ a lot, which putting a safety and a cornerback, and then maybe having like a linebacker kind of buzz out to make sure that out route isn't there for JJ to catch the ball and make a play. But still, like Sauce said, that 9-minute drive to start the half, that really crushed us. I mean, we really couldn't get our run game going because we're playing from behind now. You know that there's only 5-ish 6 minutes left on the clock that you have, and then it's fourth quarter, so we got to score now. So the Buccaneers, their whole MO was, well, the Vikings, they have to pass the ball, so let's just take away their number one receiver. If they try to run the ball, it's going to be another 3 and out or a 6-play drive. So I credit Todd Bowles and that offense from the Buccaneers from playing the game management game very, very well. And when you do that pretty much makes this Minnesota Vikings one-dimensional, which it played into the Buccaneers' favor.
Gabe, going forward, how do they use that bracket coverage that we will probably see in Philly, probably see against the Chargers with Addison, with TJ Hawkinson, with KJ Osborne? How do they use that against teams?
I feel like what they did in the first half of Justin Jefferson, basically using, some 2 tight end sets, some 3 tight end sets, putting CJ Ham in. And I know there was a few times where JJ was lined up inside, and then, Kirk Cousins said shift, and then you saw TJ Hawkinson on the outside and JJ in the slot. And basically it was one-on-one JJ versus a linebacker, and that's the matchup that you want. And that was something that Kevin O'Connell was exposing in the first half. I mean, most of JJ's catches came from a linebacker trying to follow JJ running across the middle, and that's the matchup that you want. So we always talk about, Josh Oliver and TJ Hawkinson and CJ Ham, how much pressure they put on opposing defenses because of, their physical nature, but also how they can catch out the backfield. So I believe we may have to see, more 3-2 tight end sets to be able to create more mismatches, just to keep the opposing defensive backs off the field. That worked for us a ton in the first half. That's the reason why JJ had 100+ in the first half.
Gabe, you're the best as always. We'll see you on the plane on Wednesday. Tell us what you've got as far as coverage on Vikings.com and beyond this week.
Yeah, this week is a little bit shorter. So we have a podcast, the Minnesota Vikings podcast. We're actually debuting a new podcast with Brian Asamoah. So he's going to be joining, I think, about 8 or 9 times this year, and we're going to have video coverage of that every single week, every other week this season. So this week is pretty, bare simply because it's a short week, but there's a lot coming on the Vikings Entertainment, coming on Vikings.com with the Vikings Entertainment Network this year.
You're the best ever, man.
For you.
Thank you, dude.
Appreciate you.
See you again.
Bye.
See you, bye.
Thanks, guys.
Look, this isn't Gabe's fault, but I don't know why this keeps happening.
What?
You can't say your name is Brian Asamoah when we've all been calling you Brian Asamoah.
Right. And it changes after a year.
Did he change it, or was it always that and we were just dumb?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Why does it always take a year or two for somebody to be like, by the way, we're all saying his name wrong?
Xavier Rhodes.
Asamoah.
Maybe he was calling us and we didn't answer.
Z. It's Z.
I want to say Asamoah because I've been saying it for a year.
I like Asamoah better. It makes me sound cool.
Asamoah sounds fancy.
Cool.
It sounds fancy.
Yeah.
I like it.
It sounds like a snotty person ordering food.
Yeah,
I
right.
want Brian Asamoah.
Yeah, you never Asamoah.
Can I get some Asamoah sauce?
Yeah, that's
See, I like it.
And
That's even better.
just some hick. I want some Asamoah.
yeah, that's hockey.
Pronounced
Those are
Asamoah.
Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
Yes, skank.
Really?
You'll have to have some.
Skank.
Oh man, this is not going.
Careful, Zach. Skank. No, go ahead. You were trying to joke about Asamoah. Go.
There we go. You'll have to have some awesome Wawa this weekend in Philly there, Hawk.
What?
That's the end of the show.
That was so worth it.
What the hell
I'm
just
so glad we turned up his microphone volume so he could say that. That was the end of the show. That's the best we can do.
Asamoah.
Weed reference?
I don't know.
Oh, it's the best gas station on the planet outside of Minnesota.
What the
Is
hell
this
he
a
talking
joke?
about? Does anybody know what he's talking?
Is this a joke?
Wawa, man.
PA's next.
Is this a joke?
KFAN, Total